Right. Welcome, everyone. We are gathered together for our third week with horses. And so far, it's been really, just fabulous to have this horse energy and sharing it together. And then when we go throughout our week, allowing it to unfold and continue our connection. So I have a few slides to share to reconnect us with horses. So I will share my screen. All right. And we will begin with Dr. Pong's 8 verses, as we do, to help us set the field. So find your comfortable Qigong posture. Take a few deep breaths as the sits bones root to the surface beneath. The spine straightens, the shoulders relax, the chin tucks as head touches sky. Feet stand on earth. Body relaxes and the mind expands. Be respectful and quiet. Mind is clear and appearance is humble. No distracting thoughts. Mind expands into infinite space. Feel the mind shining into the body, deeply and inwardly. Entire body is harmonized with qi. Harmonized with qi. And I just want to focus just for a moment on this lovely photo holding these 8 verses. And we can soften into the presence of the horses, the landscape, the sun, and that vast openness of the horizon. I want to bring this slide again. We've had it all 3 weeks, and it feels like an anchor point, especially given our practice and the idea of relaxation and softening and opening. And with this slow blink that we practiced the first week and we've carried throughout this month so far, you can just tap into that relaxation, that softening and opening of our safety signals, our connection to our community. And we can remember the horse's loving gaze, that vast heart field that holds and harmonizes our own hearts as our heart fields grow and increase their coherence. So we can take a few deep breaths and soften our eyes and soften our faces as we gaze into these lovely horse eyes. Even sighing a little bit if it feels good. Releasing any tension from the day or the week or the month. This is a short video that Megan shared from last year at Rena's Horse Barn, and it perfectly captures kind of that loving community aspect of horses, and the softness that comes from connection and shared grooming and just the beautiful wild, and being in it. So I will play this and we'll see horses connecting with each other in community. I just love that. It's mutually beneficial. It's mutually loving. And we have this backdrop that's just I don't know, it's heart expanding. There we go. And this is also from last year on the same property. And this is Rena with Abigail. And we saw Abigail in the beginning horse presentation. So we'll just let this connection of human and horse and beautiful earth just flow in. Continuing to deepen and integrate that sense of relaxation. And this photo is from this year. And this horse is Indigo with Rena. And we can just invite this horse's loving presence also to flow from the transmission of this photo and the connection with spring. I wanted to share Karen's beautiful painting again. It feels like another anchor point as we spend this month with horses. Last week we talked about the painting transmitting the beauty of horses, the movement and the stillness working in tandem, and this deep history of humans and horses coming together in this beautiful artwork. And we'll just let the transmission again flow. Feeling the stillness and the movement and the connections of our strong heart fields. This is the final slide for this session, and it actually ties to a poem that Alex would like to share.
Sure.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, I will pass it to Alex and he'll introduce the poem and read it and just invite this painting to help sort of create the imagery of this poem.
Yeah. So this is a poem by Wendell Berry, and it's titled Horses. Obviously, it's about a lot more than horses. It's our relationship with horses, our relationship to the natural world, how that relationship has changed, particularly with the advent of um, machinery, mechanization, industrialization, and so on, which is still kind of the era that we're in. But I also, it has a sort of nostalgia to it, looking back to the past. But I think it also may call to the future too. And I think it's almost suggested in the poem that because I think we all know this, but like we're burning through natural resources at a rate that's like millions of times faster than the rate at which they're produced. So obviously it can't last forever. And so at some point, like I don't know if we're going to be able to tech our way out of this problem, and I know that currently the rage is, AI is going to save the world. I don't know if that's true. But I think there is something true in this poem. So I wanted to share it tonight. Okay, here we go. When I was a boy here, traveling the fields for pleasure, the farms were worked with teams. As late as then, a teamster was thought an accomplished man. It's art, an essential discipline. A boy learned it by delight, as he learned to use his body, following the example of men. The reins of a team were put into my hands when I thought the work was play. And in the corrective gaze of men now dead, I learned to flesh my will and power great enough to kill me should I let it turn. I learned the other tongue by which men spoke to beasts, all its terms and tones, and by the time I learned, the new ways had changed the time. The tractors came. The horses stood in the fields, keepsakes, grew old, and died. or were sold as dog meat. Our minds received the revolution of engines. Our will stretched toward the numb endurance of metal. And that old speech by which we magnified our flesh and other flesh fell dead through our mouths. The songs of the world died in our ears as we went within the uproar of the long syllable of the motors. Our intent entered the world as combustion. Like our travels, our workdays burned upon the world, lifting its inwards up in fire. Veiled in that power, our minds gave up the endless cycle of growth and decay and took the unreturning way, the breathless distance of iron. But that work, empowered by burning the world's body, showed us finally the world's limits and our own. We had then the life of a candle, no longer the ever-returning song among the grass blades and the leaves. Did I never forget, or did I, after years, remember? To hear that song again, though brokenly in the distances of memory, is coming home. I came to a farm, some of it unreachable by machines, as some of the world will always be. And so I came to a team, a pair of mare's sorrels with white tails and manes, beautiful, to keep my sloping fields. Going behind them, the reins tight over their backs as they stepped their long strides, revived again on my tongue the cries of dead men in the living fields. Now every move answers what is still. This work of love rhymes living and dead. A dance is what this plotting is. A song, whatever is said.
Thank you. Those are the slides for tonight. And I invite anyone to share anything that wants to be shared.
Did you get it, Gary?
No, we're having mechanical problems here.
Mechanical problems.
I just wanted to thank you, Alex, for that poem. It really took me back. And, I never worked behind a team of horses, but I saw it. And I thought it was great. Thank you so much.
Here in Missouri, we see a lot of Amish, and I'm ashamed to say when I was younger, I used to make fun of the Amish, and like as the world continues to like spiral into madness, sometimes I think they might be the smartest people on earth right now.
Well, my dad was born in Kelowna, Iowa, which is an Amish community.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not Amish, but I did spend some time up there,
Yeah.
and it's great.
My dad's dad, my grandpa, he left like a Mennonite community, basically, and like became modern, I guess, if you will. But yeah, that branch of the family's still out there somewhere here in the Midwest.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember my grandfather, he had this small pasture next to their house with their garden and a barn, and they had some horses and cows. And I remember now them when I was little hooking this metal thing up to the horses and plowing the garden with it. So there was never big enough to have a tractor. I mean, later, much later, when he got much older, they didn't have cows and horses anymore, but they still had the pasture, and then they got a tractor. But that brought back some fun memories.
I was reminded this morning, Lillian shared that horses in, I think is Northern Ontario, would clear the snow. So they would plow fields, but they were, they were,
snowplows, do you?
yeah, yeah, Lillian.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Also, Steph and Gary. Oh, wow.
Well, it's interesting that we even with like how we call like motors like have horsepower, right? That's how we like measure how valuable they are, if you will, or how like powerful they are. It's interesting that it still harkens to that, um, even even with the transformation.
Yeah, Lillian. Mhm.
Yes, I did share this morning, and we still have the family land where my grandparents settled in Discotasing in the early 1900s, and still is the farm equipment there that was used by the horses in that day. And in that particular area, there hasn't been any electricity till my son put in a solar system a few years ago. So it was like turning back time. You can see all the old equipment and how they would have had to plow the field, the plows that go behind. And they used to also plow the lake during the lumbering years with a team of horses and boards behind that as well, eh? But I did see photos from the archives, like somewhere in Sudbury, where they plowed for lumbering in certain areas using the horses and wood behind to clear clear the path because they didn't have machines in that. But I guess it really touches me, the land there and the energy of the trees and nature in that. And I always kept thinking about this fire horse ever since we started with the fire horse and this energy in this fire horse. And it would always bring me to the big white pine in our backyard, which I mentioned before. It's huge. It takes me and my husband, our hands together to circle our arms around it. And all this energy is just so amazing. The energy in the water and the land, and then this fire horse, like this year is like, it's really going to be something, and and I have a special guest today who's been coming up down, putting her head on me. Um, our daughter-in-law is going in for surgery, and I have the seizure response dog to take care of for a few days, or I should say we have. Yeah. So she just went out for a walk in nature.
Oh,
Yeah.
we love all the dogs. Whenever we have puppies anchoring us here as well, and I know Steph and Angie,
Beautiful.
cat and Megan's cat. So all the animals, we love all the animals that come to nature healing.
True.
Yeah.
What's the dog's name?
Evie her name is Evie, and she's actually certified by Dog Guides Canada. Eh? So
Mhm.
we're very blessed to have her as part of the family. Yeah.
Outlaw Evie.
Hello, Evie. She's such a good girl. Such a gift.
Maggie just walked in, so I said she could say hi.
Oh, wow.
I realized the other day that so often she comes in when, we're practicing, and the cats used to just jump right up, and so they had to be greeted. But Maggie just sits there and is ignored, so I told her I'm going to try to make more of an effort to greet her when she joins us.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow. Hmm. 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 Yeah.
The poem and the horses reminded me a lot of Bobby talks a lot about having grown up where the teams were still being used and riding on the back of the wagon that was drawn by the horses to events when she was a kid. And one of the things, we used to live a couple hours east of here, which put us sort of in a direct line with a fairly large Amish community in northern Indiana. So we would drive to Indiana and take our bikes and ride our bicycles around through the Amish country so that we could see the horses and the farms. And Bobby said every time that it just restored her heart to see the farms in such healthy, the crops so healthy and the animals so healthy. And so that it touched me, the poem and the picture, because it felt like us going there to search for that memory for her. So
Thank you, Angie. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. This is somewhat related, I feel, to what we're sharing about the power and importance of horses, especially historically. After last year's horse presentation, I've been sitting with horses the whole time, and somewhere along the line, I learned that the punishment for many societies for stealing a horse used to be quite steep, even sometimes as much as death,
Yeah.
if you stole someone's horse. And
Yep.
it really shows us how entwined our survival and our well-being was with horses, and all of these stories that we've been sharing and these memories and the nostalgia, all of that really helps bring to the present the importance of our history with horses. And just I've sat with that punishment uh for a long time. Just, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
just fascinating
Yeah.
to me. And then when the automobile was introduced, the punishment for stealing a horse was still greater because automobiles hadn't yet become what they are. But horses, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a big
really
deal.
significant to societies. Mm, Thanks.
Yeah, I think we mentioned at some point that understanding how to work with horses is absolutely a technology. And I see this watching my daughter, who's fascinated by horse technology, right? It's our son likes to build robots, and my daughter likes to do horse technology. And really, they are both technologies, right? They're both um, understanding very complex systems and how to interact with them in the best way for mutual success and benefit. And it's not easy. Keeping horses like healthy and functioning and not lame and is a lot of work, um, especially the way they've been bred to have certain characteristics that humans like. There's just a lot of little details. I mean, it's just crazy intricate. Like there's like books after books after books that my daughter's memorizing to kind of steep this technology deep in her bones. And um, it's fascinating, right? Like if we did lose the ability to use machines and needed to go back to horses, very few people would remember this technology, right? So who knows? Maybe it'll come in handy. But if you look back in history, countries like England, for example, their superiority in horse technology was part of their worldwide dominance, and that's part of why they still honor and like have great importance over keeping horse technology current within the populace and the people. And like a lot of people ride horses there, and it's actually way more accessible of a activity than it is in the States, where it's pretty much like, anyway, it's not as accessible, we'll just say. uh, but but um, but part of that legacy. And as we of course also know, I know you said it the first time, but the native peoples who figured out horse technology first, they were the winners in the kind of plains battles that were going on. And really, like, just like AI, right? Like whoever like figured out the horse technology and how to use it the best and the most successfully won that particular tech race. So anyway, it fascinates me, the technology aspect of horses. And I love the poem also because it reminds us of the art that used to be inherent in everything that humans did. The art and the craft and the direct deep connection to land. I mean, I've been really musing recently. I took a basket weaving class over the weekend, and I've been musing how literally everything that, well, almost everything that humans needed in, before industrial everything occurred and global supply chains, um, was crafted by artisans in the local place using the materials that were available to them, which is to say the actual plants and animals that lived there in that place. Everything was very like place specific. And same really with this technology of working with animals and horses too. And it's fun to remember that. It feels like a good balance to the other place that our attention goes these days, which is to say, AI, and I can make a click and get what I want tomorrow delivered to my house. And so it's fun. It seems like important medicine to remember that, like, patience and devotion um, and inherent play. I love that, right? Like, kids started learning these skills when they were little, and it was fun and play, and then it actually turned into serious, needed skills that they use. So anyway, I'm rambling now, but yeah, thank you. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the poem captures all of it. It talks about the song of the land, language of animals, like all of these connections and ways of living and being. Yeah.
Totally. I also, I was going to say one of my favorite parts of the poem is this, where this sort of like, he talks about how like we, in forgetting this relationship and like leaning into the machine, we kind of like forgot that we grow old and die. Like there's like this line that was like, veiled in that power, our minds gave up the endless cycle of growth and decay and took the unreturning way, the breathless distance of iron. Like it can just go on forever. Like we don't have to worry about famine. Like I can have strawberries in any time of year. Like it just it doesn't. It's not realistic. It's like it really, that disconnection from the natural world is yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the horses is one way you can see it. Very, I mean, he saw it as a boy. He was learning how to do that work, and then it became obsolete by the time he grew up. It's wild. What a time to be alive, to see those transformations happen. But yeah, it is fascinating.
I have a quick story. We we lived in England for a couple years, and as you know, that in most of Britain, I guess all of Britain, they drive on what we call the wrong side of the road. And I asked about that, and the story I got was that the knights on the horses would ride on the left side because they carried the lance in their right hand or under their right arm. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes a lot of sense. And they just never converted from that to try, whatever.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. 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 It makes you wonder how many elements of our modern day tie back to,
Yeah.
Horse history and our reliance and interdependence with horses. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Lillian.
Speaking about England, I was in England in 2005, and the tragedy of the bombings of these subways occurred. And I was supposed to be getting on the subway, and I got a little bit nervous. My husband had gone to work, and I said, I'm going to change my pants, put my other stuff in, my other pants, get rid of my purse. I got there, the gate was closed. I would not have been in that part, but I could have gotten snarled up in it. I was going to go down to zone 1 where the art galleries are, because that's one of the loves of my life. And so I couldn't go that day, but I went the next day and there was like nobody on the subways. But when I got off the subways downtown by the National Gallery, there's horses, and their police are on the horses, and there's lots of them, and they had big rain capes on, and after I came to realize under there was they would have had weapons, because of the bombings and concerns about other threats to other areas in London. But I reflected on that horse when you were talking a while ago, and I saw the faithfulness of that horse to be trained and to be groomed to a position, and the horse to be kept in their culture as to protect the people. And not just only in ceremony when they would need it for a show, but they were calling upon that horse in time of protection. When the steel didn't work. And then when the poem was being read, and with the transition to away from using the horses for transportation and, plowing the fields and going to mechanization with steel, with cars, and that what came to me was, did we know how many people would be lives would be sacrificed to the speed of the steel in accidents? And what we're seeing in our area, there's been just so many highway accidents involving, transport trucks and improperly trained drivers with driving them, and, in winter conditions, and which we hadn't seen in other years, and it's becoming chaos. It's like, had we stayed the way we were, the peacefulness of living on a farm is peaceful. It's a simpler life. Now we're being consumed by, I'd say, the steel of technology and, cell phone towers and 5G, 6G's coming, 7G's coming too, and the health problems involved with those kinds of things too, So, and the horses also provided manure to fertilize their fields. They were life-giving. And the horse's biofield is so much more powerful than a human's biofield. And it's, I think the first one we talked about, but the horse instinctively knew what the rider was calling for. And I thought, wow, that is amazing. The attentiveness and the love and the connection, we don't have that with steel. They got self-driving cars, but that is not a real relationship. We've lost relationship to steel.
That was one of my main takeaways last year when Megan brought horses, was the loss of the co-regulation of our nervous systems with horses.
Yeah.
It's transformation. It just changed our relationships and the expression of our nervous systems. It's something that's stuck with me as well, and you're reminding me of that. Thank you.
Yeah, the co-regulation, that is huge with animals and with nature. Like I'm a tree hugger. Like, well, at camp we have lots of eastern white pines, and even like just down the trail, I'm really blessed to live where I live. I'll be out there and I'll go, oh, I gotta rub it on my cheek, the pine needles, I gotta hug the tree. I had to have a picture taken for an album we did for our singing one Christmas, and I had to have mine like slung around a tree, my leg up, typical me. But, it's that energy from a living entity, and along with that, New Zealand wants to recognize whales. I think it's the whales now as living beings. Yeah, so which I think is so beautiful. They've done it with rivers too. So, oh, well.
Hello. I'd like to share.
Hi, Trudy.
So, hi. Sorry, I'm driving, but I pulled over to just make a quick little comment. So, I'm reminded of the Celtic goddess Rhiannon, the goddess of horses. Um, in one of the stories of the Mabinogion, um, she comes from the other world on a white horse, and she's in a red dress. White and red are synonymous of the other world. And she meets Pwyll, who she intends to marry. Pwyll is in Wales, and she rides on her horse, and all his attendants, they though she's riding at a slow pace, they can never catch her. And she does that for 3 days. He watches her for 3 days riding, and nobody can catch her until the third day, of course. Um, he asks her a question, and she said, "Why didn't you ask before? Who are you?" So the horse for me reminds me of Rhiannon and the liminality of our lives. That the um, the closeness of the other world to us. She represents endurance, wisdom, and, like I said, the other world. And she's a figure of strength and grace, and we see that in the horses. And she's also known for enduring injustice and demonstrating compassion. So yes, I love the story of the Mabinogion and Rhiannon's symbolism of the horse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trudy. It's a perfect overview of all of the characteristics that the horse brings, that strength, grace, steadiness, endurance, that speed, even though it looks like the horse is going slowly, that travel between realms, liminality, all of that. Yeah, thank you. You can just let that story, all of the symbolism, just sink into this relaxed state that we've all been sharing this month. We give our gratitude for all of the stories, all of the ways we connect with horses through history, through mythology, through our memories. And we can allow this to open the field for anyone who wants to be named aloud or silently and held in this loving embrace and the strength and grace of the horse.
Both Bobby and I, as we continue in this journey after her surgery.
We'll sit down in the answer.
You and Bobby. Gary?
We have a friend, Rob, who's dying of cancer, and I think he's still alive today, but I'd like to put him in the field and his wife.
Rob. What is his wife's name?
I'm not sure.
Well, we'll hold her just the same. Yeah. Rob,
The babies.
the BBs.
Right.
His wife, the BBs. Yes. Especially with this energy of traveling between worlds and movement.
I can never remember.
I'd like to put in Sophie for her surgery who's coming up, our daughter-in-law, and our son Rodney, who is accompanying her through the process, and our grandsons Alex and B for their healing and health.
Mm. Mm. Thank you, Lillian.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're holding all of them in the field. We're holding Evie as she stays with you while they go through the process. Mm. Yeah. Mm.
I'd like to put Bodhi in the field. I have to take her back to the vet tomorrow, but I have to sedate her. I've never done that before. And so I think I need to be in the field supported to be able to get that pill to go down her throat. And I'm very nervous about it. So, and I want to put in the field this vast eye of the horse. I observed one woman in the horse retreat, the healing retreat, who had worked with horses for many years. She was very, knowledgeable, accomplished. She just had a very special connection, and she was able to go and drop, and she talked about this when we had sharing time, of dropping into the eye of the horse. And dropping into that liminal space through the gaze and the total merging with the eye of the horse. And I just thought that's so perfect for what we do here when we bring everyone in and we drop in to that eye of the horse place of deep healing and love. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Mm. That's perfect. Dropping into the eye of the horse's gaze. You bring that love and presence to all of those in the field, all of those who want to be in this field who weren't mentioned. And we can go ahead and transition into our meditation, bringing all of the love with us. And find your comfortable posture, seated, standing, or laying down. And as we get comfortable, we can invite that horse's gaze, that loving, unconditional, strong heart field, the grace, the movement, the endurance, and that ability to hold between spaces in the liminal, the past and the present, where memory meets, where memory fades, where memory comes back. Just allowing those transparent moments, that connection to merge here in the present as we take a few deep breaths. Acknowledging our shared space, all of our baby hearts, connecting here, connecting with horses, harmonizing and softening, feeling our bodies root down through the surface beneath us into the earth, connecting and grounding with the earth, inviting the earth energy to flow up through the bottoms of the feet, nourishing our bodies, lengthening the spine, tucking the chin and lifting the crown of the head up to the heaven. Reaching into the heavenly energy from this place of groundedness and connection with the strength of the horse's field, the horse's gaze, our open hearts, and our rootedness with Mother Earth. We invite the heaven to flow in to the top of the head, also merging with our bodies, our energy fields, our consciousness, all as one, receiving this nourishment. And together we are dropping in. From this place of unconditional love and the unflinching gaze, we can invite our consciousness to flow into the center of the head, bringing our peaceful awareness into the head inner space. Observing the seat of our consciousness and knowing that our consciousness field is vast, just as our heart field. And we can breathe with the head inner space, observing and softening. Feeling this horse's gaze, this eye of the horse to sink in to our awareness of the head inner space. Inviting any transformation that wants to occur, any harmonizing that's ready. Feeling the entirety of the head inner space, harmonizing, softening, attuning to this vibration of unconditional love. And with this awareness, we can expand to fill the entirety of the head and softening and opening to the space around us. And releasing. And we can invite this same consciousness, this awareness, this unconditional love to flow from the head inner space through the throat, bringing love to all the spaces of the throat, the shoulders, arms, and hands. And this unconditional love, this awareness flows into the chest, holding the entirety of the chest inner space within the horse's gaze. And we can sink in and relax, relaxing the organs of the chest, the heart, the lungs. Breathing and softening with the breath. Our chest opens and expands with this loving gaze. Unconditional love flowing through all the cells and the spaces, opening and merging. Remembering the connection of all of our strong baby hearts, harmonizing and singing together. remembering and releasing. And we let go and allow this awareness, our consciousness, this unconditional love to flow from the chest into the abdomen, bringing the horse's gaze into the organs of the torso, all the spaces between. Again, sinking in, allowing the breath to flow in, sighing into the organs. Inviting the song of our body's center to harmonize and radiate through all of our organs, energy fields, held in this loving gaze. Softening where the softening wants to be, and holding space where it may not be ready to soften. Inviting the same loving gaze to all of it. We can open the energy of the abdomen, the organs. Open and release. And we can invite our consciousness, our awareness, this unconditional love to flow through the energy of the spine, from the top down through all the vertebrae, into the tailbone, sinking into that loving gaze, harmonizing and releasing, holding and letting go. Again, sighing. And inviting the same loving awareness into the hips, the pelvis, our legs, the entirety of the inner space of the hips and legs and feet, remembering our connection to the earth, feeling that open flow, that open exchange with Mother Earth. And bringing that unconditional love to this exchange, remembering we are of our Mother. And breathing. And the lower body opens and harmonizes, receives and releases. As we invite this sinking into the horse's gaze, the unconditional love to flow through our entirety, the entirety of the consciousness of the body, all merging and whole, and breathing. We breathe together. We rest in this unconditional loving gaze together. We invite harmony where it's ready to be received. And we hold deep love on all the parts that are still harmonizing. And we give our deep gratitude for our time together, for the merging of all time and space, our ability to connect to the past, the present, and the future. Our gratitude for our teachers, all healers, all wisdom traditions, the horses, all of the animals we've connected with and built our lives around through history, all of the life on our beautiful planet. We breathe with this gratitude, with these relationships. I'm just checking in and seeing if we'd like to stay here in this formal practice, ending whenever we're ready, just allowing the call to fade. Otherwise, with our breath, with our bodies, we can invite our awareness to flow back into our centers, the center of the head, the chest, and the abdomen. Feeling the wholeness of our embodied selves, we can stretch and move, inviting integration in its own time. And stacking the hands palm over palm above the navel, grounding in the low belly. And releasing when we're ready. And opening the eyes. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all of you and all of these deep shares. It's been such a beautiful month. Thank you. We'll be back
Thank you
next.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You.
So
Yeah.
beautiful.
Next week will be our final official week with horses. And if anything wants to be shared, poems, stories, memories, photos, just send them our way to me or to Megan. And we'll put them in the slideshow if you'd like. And yeah, anything that wants to come up now or later, it's all welcome. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, thank you.
Hi, Trudy.
Thank you.
Hi, Trudy.
Pretty.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Good mornings for some people.
Good morning, all the time.